Hello VC, it's Dustin back again. This is my second video. I just want to thank everybody for welcoming me so fast into the community. I had plenty of stuff to read today when I got back on my computer, and it just feels great to be welcomed into something that fast. As you can notice, the video is no longer backwards. I found out that there's a button on my computer that fixes that. So it says Foreigner now, not Rengiroff. Anyway, the first thing I wanted to say is this goes out to Mike. If you're watching this, I wanted to give you a little close up of this poster or cardboard cutout. But yeah, my dad got that for me. He was actually going to give it away at a garage sale, and I went by and said, "Hey, I'd love to have this." I got that along the same time I got that Foreigner poster and the back up there, and they're just thick cardboard. They definitely had them outside some kind of record store. The Foreigner on the back, it says back in 10 minutes, so some guy must have been using that as a sign to say when he was at lunch. Anyway, today's records are going to start out with some bands that I think are very underrated from the 70s classic rock to 80s metal, that area. And then I'm just going to go through and pick a couple of the recent finds I found this week. First thing in the background is a little band that's actually coming up later, a band called Fast Away. I'll get more in detail on them, but the album is Fast Away, and the band is Fast Away, and the album is All Fired Up. But let's get into this. The first album I want to show you guys is White Hot by a band called Angel. These guys are here's a shot of the back. These guys were pretty glammed up. I could say they're not super hard rock, but they're a hard rock band. They were on the Casablanca label with Kiss. Tied them in this episode because they did. But these guys were considered the lighter side of the label. Kiss was always portrayed as super evil and dark. These guys were the counter to that. And this is probably my favorite album by Angel. I believe this is I looked it up, 77 or 78 or something like that. But really glam rock. It's not 80s, so it doesn't get that hard, but definitely check them out. I would compare them to maybe even like Styx. Maybe just I'm gonna let you find out. The second one I wanted to show you guys, and I cannot stress how much I recommend this band, but UFO. There's a show on VH1 Classic called That Metal Show, and I don't know if you guys know who Eddie Trunk is. He's a radio DJ. He's pretty famous now in the hard rock and metal community. He recommends this band like crazy, and this is No Heavy Petting, their '78 album, and I cannot recommend these guys enough. These guys are right along the lines of Montrose, that early to late 70s hard rock. They even got into some 80s stuff, and just a great rock band if you want. I definitely recommend you checking these out. That's your guys' homework tonight for this episode. Go check out UFO. Third, Fast Away. This is what you're hearing right now. I'll give you a little silence. Probably sounds like crap, but this is their '82 album playing, All Fired Up. And in the later years, they got a little more heavy, but they started out heavy. Like, there's so many bands, it's hard to compare anybody to anybody else anymore. But you'd know them most from the guitarist from Motorhead. Right there. And just Fast Eddie Clarke's his name. And this doesn't sound like Motorhead at all, but that's where you'd know him from. Definitely give these guys a listen if you're into that late 70s, early 80s hard rock. I have a wild card here. I actually found these guys at a record store in the dollar bin, and they look pretty 80s, so I grabbed it, and I found out that despite the title of Rock and Roll Warriors and the band name is Savoy Brown, these guys are 80s hard blues. And if you want something to surprise you, and you feel like you couldn't be surprised, check out Savoy Brown. These guys they're underrated, but nobody knows who they are, so I don't think they're rated. But if you like blues and you like metal, check these guys out. Savoy Brown, Rock and Roll Warriors. Oh, right here. This next band's a Christian band from the 80s. I just found out about these guys as well as I did a couple months ago, and now I'm hooked. Striper. They really ran with the black and white images. Here's a shot of the back. But Michael Sweet is one of the best vocalists I've ever heard in the 80s genre. This is the album Soldiers Under Command. Soldiers Under Command. And great 80s album. They have an album called In God We Trust and To Hell with the Devil, which you might know most. I've seen a couple guys on here with them. Sorry, pretty new. I don't know your usernames, but you guys can vouch for me that Striper is a band people need to check out. And also, I'm going to plug their new album real fast. They have an album they came out with in 2011 called The Covering. And this album was... There's one original song on there called God. Nonetheless, they had to do it eventually, right? But the vocals on that song and that album completely are just amazing. They cover Kiss's Shout It Out Loud. They cover Ozzy, Over the Mountain, Breaking the Law by Judas Priest. Just a bunch of great classics. Even Carry On Wayward Son by Kansas. Sorry, that was... I knew it. But the last artist that I wanted to show in my underrated section is actually a guy who's he is famous. He's a Beatle. But his solo work is very underrated, and that person is Ringo Starr. This is his 78 album, Bad Boy. And I picked this up at a local thrift store with a George Harrison album from around the same time. I think it was the George Harrison album was a year earlier. But I cannot stress, if you like the big band kind of thing with a great rock singer, check out some of Ringo Starr's mid-70s to early 80s stuff. I actually found out that I never really knew about any of his solo stuff until I saw him on Conan, which is a talk show here, probably 3-4 weeks ago, and I went out and I was like, oh, I gotta grab this, it's only $3. Let's go check out some Ringo Starr, and can't recommend this enough. Very underrated solo artist, despite being in the Beatles. Alright, now some of the most recent things I've gotten. Starting off, it's in a little bit of rough shape on the spine, but everywhere else it's in a perfect shape. White Lion, Big Game. One of my favorite 80s bands. Up there with Firehouse, 80s Kiss, Rat. But these guys were actually Dutch. At least the singer was, and that kind of gave him a cool voice. The guitar player Vito Bratta, who had one of the best guitar tones coming from a musician's perspective I've ever heard, he actually just lives at home now. He doesn't even play music anymore. He just stays home and takes care of his parents. But great album, great band, White Lion, Big Game. The next one, you all know this guy, Ultimate Sin by Ozzy Osbourne. Picked this up for $1. You know how rare it is to find Ozzy for $1? Pretty rare here in Santa Rosa, California, Northern Bay Area. If you're any of you are around here and want to ever hit me up and talk, let me know. I might be too eager. I'm new here. But if you guys can get a look at that artwork, it's like, come on, Ozzy, what are you doing? Great album. Shot in the Dark's definitely my favorite Ozzy song. Lightning Strikes. There's not a bad song on here. It's Ozzy. I mean, you know what you get with Ozzy. Just thought I'd share that. The next band, a lot of you may, even if you're into the 80s hair metal genre, you might not know these guys. They only had one big hit song, and it wasn't on this album. The song was on this album, but with a different singer. Then right after they released the album, they got a new singer, recorded the single over again, and then it became big. But the band is Tiger Tails. And they were more they could even challenge Poison for how glammed up they were. But great band. Never really had what it took to make it huge. But these guys are definitely good songwriters. If you feel like checking out their single with a new singer, which was still like 88. Go check out the song "Living Without You" by Tiger Tales. Great song. One of the best 80s songs out there, in my opinion, despite the band not being that famous. The last one I have here is a little bit of a... I almost want to challenge you guys to guess what it is. It's got one little fold kind of in the middle that I'm not too happy about, but I'm just going to put it up there, and if you want, pause the video, take a good look at it, and if you can guess in the comments what it is... Actually, you know what? Just guess what it is. I don't feel like making another video for it. Here's the album. And no, you're not missing anything. It's an all black cover. Who knows what this is? This is Spinal Tap. Smell the Glove. I found this at a local record store for $1 in the dollar bin. They must not have even looked at what it was. But if you open it up, it's the soundtrack to the movie, but it's portrayed as if it's a full-length album. Shark Sandwich, Brain Hammer, some of their other stuff that never actually was released. But yeah, Spinal Tap, Smell the Glove, really cool. Great find for $1. Didn't know what they had. I did. And that's pretty much all I've got for right now. I would like to send out a challenge up there. If anybody wants to show me some of their stuff or show the community some of the underrated bands in their genre they listen to or any other genre, go ahead and post your 10 most underrated bands or albums, and I'll be sure to watch them all and comment and let you guys know what I want. What I want. It's not about what I want, it's about what you want. I don't know why I said that. Now I just sound like an idiot. Anyway, I'm going to shut this off before I make myself look like a jackass. Peace out, vinyl community. Thanks. Don't look at me turn this off because I have to, yeah. Bye.